So, hi everyone, I am Kei-chan. I have been participating in Anime Boston cosplay events since 2022. And I did always want to do like a video of some kind, doing like an explanation of each event and like how application processes usually go and like what it's like and stuff, because a lot of people are like nervous to jump in. It's usually me and my boy Majima doing these events. Since 2022, we've done Cosplay Deathmatch, we've done Masquerade several times in performance. This previous year we did a lot. We did Cosplay Singer, we did Deathmatch, and we did in-character contest, which, by the way, awesome time, and I'm so glad they're bringing it back again. All of your applications and all of the information on each event can be found on the Anime Boston website, which I just showed. Let me just show you real quick again where it is. So this is animeboston.com. This is the homepage, and you want to go over to signups, and then you look at this. You have your options. You have so many options for a lot of stuff. And as far as I know now, you no longer need a forum account to sign on for events. You need an Eventry account, which it walks you through signups when you go to sign up for things. So let's say like, oh, I wanna do Masquerade. So let's just click on Masquerade. You choose either Performance or Craftsmanship. You cannot do both. And then you go through the rules and make sure you read them, because you don't want to get like blindsided by something that was in the rules. And then signups are over here. I'm not going to click on it because I don't know if it's going to show like legal name and address and stuff, because I've already applied for a lot of them, so I know what the application looks like. I'll show you what the application looks like real quick. This is the Cosplay Deathmatch app. This first step here, user info, I'm not going to show you obviously, but they ask for stuff like legal name, legal address, phone number, all that jazz. But you put in all your basic user information here, and then you go to additional info, which is basically the meat and potatoes of your application. It will be you saying you're an adult or you're a designated adult of someone who's trying to apply, how many people are in your group, and usually performer names, character names, series they're from, cosplay photos, which for good cosplay photos, you want to have as much as your cosplay done as possible, and you want a full-length photo, like a nice one. Like, we're not talking like professional photography here. We're just talking about like, can they see what the costume looks like? Like, don't take it in a dark room. The main thing is they just want to know that you're working on it and that you're most likely than not going to have the cosplay done by showtime. And then usually they'll have you write an introduction. Majima proceeded to write the most ridiculous one he could, because Deathmatch is fun. So this is an example of the Deathmatch application. In this case, our group has 2 members. These will be our legal names of the performers, which I changed, obviously, here. They will request what series your characters are from. Some events are more strict on source material than others. Masquerade is particularly strict when it comes to source material. Events that are non-contest, like with cash prizes, are like less so. Then it'll ask if you have any specific requests, like if you have like a mobility aid or like you need assistance getting on and off the stage, stuff like that. Now, normally I would save and continue, but like this is basically it when it comes to the application. Obviously, other apps are going to be more complicated than the Deathmatch one. Like, for example, Masquerade they require a build book. We'll get into all that. But this is basically what most of your apps are going to look like. This is our tentative schedule for this year for Anime Boston. So these are basically the days that everything is going to happen on. I'm pretty sure all of these are locked in except for quite possibly Karaoke Contest. That is more likely than not going to be taking place on Saturday, because historically it always has. These are not in any particular order. We're not sure about times of day that things are going to be happening yet. But on Friday, you're going to be having in-character contest, which is going to be several rounds of the event, so it's probably going to be going on for a little bit. In-character contest, lip-sync battle, Masquerade Craftsmanship judging, usually on Friday, 18+ dating game, and then the drag show. Unfortunately, the only event I do not have information on today is the drag show. For Saturday, we have Masquerade Performance judging, Deathmatch, a big fat quiz show, which will happen later in the day, I believe, and Masquerade Karaoke Contest around the same time. And then very end of the day will be Shenanigans, which is another 18+ After Dark event. And then Sunday will be the new event, Cosplay Talent Showcase, and the event that's been around forever, Cosplay Runway. Usually Cosplay Runway is first, Cosplay Talent Showcase is going to be slightly later. But also to note, anyone who has not been to AB, Sundays usually close earlier. So convention usually wraps up around 4:30. Let's get on to general rules of events. These are really nice to know before you start applying. What to expect. Staff cannot approve cosplays and props in advance. It's very hard for them to determine that. Everything has to abide by the rules and policies, attire and props, even if it is a mature audience's event. So you cannot sneak in to the dating game as sexy Nojutsu Naruto with like the steam bubbles over your boobies and your butt hanging out. You cannot do that. Even if it's an 18+ event, you can't do that. If you can't walk into the Heinz legally, you cannot put that cosplay into an event. Most events, except for the 18+ ones, are PG-13, so keep that in mind. Also, do not show up in something that isn't what you presented unless you talk to coordinators prior. Yes, this is very important. Things are very streamlined with all the events, and when you give final word on what you're wearing and how you're going to be wearing it and what props you have and stuff, the coordinators are communicating that to the rest of Anime Boston staff as well as the staff that manages the green room and the stage. The Heinz is very particular about who goes on and leaves their stage for safety reasons. I have seen people turned away for certain props that they did not disclose, that they just showed up con day and were like, hey, I have this now. And it's like, okay, you didn't say that in your paperwork, so you can't have it. Stuff like that. So coordinators are super, super helpful. They're always like available, except for unless it's like the day of and they're running around like crazy. So feel free, please reach out to them and communicate with your coordinator. I'm sure that they will be more than happy to accommodate anything or any changes you have. Have airsoft guns been let in before without the BBs, ones with orange tips? Okay, so this is a Boston PD issue when it comes to weapons and prop approval. This is why the staff cannot pre-approve props, is because of this reason. I have seen people, I think there was one year a Stormtrooper or a Boba Fett or something was actually detained by Boston PD with a blaster. I think it may have had the orange tip, I don't know. But general rule of thumb is, at minimum, do not walk around outside the Heinz with any weaponry out. This includes fake firearms, it includes futuristic blasters. I would say a portal gun even falls under that, which is crazy, but this is the world we live in now. Swords, also swords. No swords out and about. If you can have a bag that carries them, that would be super duper. Don't be stupid with them. Don't be stupid with your weapons. Don't hit people outside or inside the con. Do not point your gun at people, even for photos. Staff can't exactly approve weapons like beforehand, but you can always ask and they can try their best. So generally on stage, no messy substances, including like seal your paint. Please seal your paint. For the love of God, do not leave handprints everywhere. Do not leave handprints on other people. Seal your makeup. Smoke fog machines are not allowed. This includes vaping devices. I'm not sure if this applies to Masquerade Craftsmanship or not. I would check in with a coordinator, but I am almost 99% sure it does. I'm pretty sure that the Heinz Convention Center is like a no smoke machine of any capacity venue. No glitter, no throwing confetti. Basically, rule of thumb is if you can't quickly clean it up, it's a no-go on stage. I've seen people throw streamers that are like all attached to each other so they can just roll them up real quick and they don't like actually separate from their body, which is really nice. Those work very well. But yeah, don't come out and like throw rose petals because coordinators will hate you for that. Quick changing might be difficult depending on what area of the convention center the event that you're in is held in, because they're all held in different spaces. It might be harder, especially with locations of restrooms. For Cosplay Singer, it was held in 303. I believe it was a panel room, and restrooms were a little bit of a walk away. Not too far, but you couldn't simply just run in real quick and then run back out. The green room at the Veterans Memorial Auditorium, where most of the bigger events take place, usually has a bathroom there. I have heard that there have been years where the bathroom has been closed, so it's not guaranteed to be open, but it's there. And I have seen people make quick changes in the green room before. I remember one year at Deathmatch, we had a Jesse and a James that competed, and in between rounds, they were changing, and it was insane. But try not to hold that expectation for yourself unless you have experience in quick changing cosplays. So if you think that you're going to be doing some events that are going to overlap one another, I would say talk to your coordinator and definitely practice quick changing before the convention. Events are 18 plus to sign up for, and some events permit group members that are 13 to 17 years old by approval through contacting cosplay events. I've seen plenty of minors enter in like Deathmatch and other events and stuff with an adult's permission. So that's basically what that means. Obviously, If you're a minor, you cannot enter the 18 plus After Dark events. Don't lie about your age. They check your ID. They're really good at checking IDs, and you'll be in a heap load of trouble if you lie. You cannot violate rules to stay in character. This is a big deal because I see a lot of people trying to skirt around this sometimes. There's always one person every year, at least one person a year does this, where they'll be like, oh, the event has no swearing, but my character swears like a sailor, so I'm just going to curse. You can't do that. If your character is particularly violent, you cannot make physical contact with your other participants. Yes, but it's what my character would do. Does not fly. The rules come first, and not only do the rules come first, the event comes first, which is something we will get into when we talk about dating game. Your character is a moving cog in the machine that is this show. It is a show at the end of the day for an audience and everyone to enjoy. You do not want to ruin that fun because it might be something your character will do. You are real humans interacting with real other humans. You are not your character, even if you actually are. Wink, nudge. You're still a human being and you need to act like a normal person. At least a little bit. No event reimburses your badge, so make sure that you are registered. Or make sure that you are able to get registered. Very important in regards to Saturday, because the past couple years, Anime Boston Saturday has been selling out. Pre-purchase your badge if you are doing an event. There is no harm in doing it early. Like, do not wait until last minute and try to buy it on site, because God forbid you can't. Like I said before, a full-length photo of you in your cosplay, as well as all their participants in their cosplay, as finished as it can be, is going to be required for applications. Like Goggles said, if you want to have a photo of you, like, with the cosplay, like, in your hands, it doesn't have to be finished. As long as you can prove that you have access to this costume, and you can wear it to your event. That is all they care about. Your cosplay must follow AB's source material requirements. That brings us to this fancy smanchy page. Cosplays must be from Japanese media, which is anime, manga, video games, live action, etc., or from media that is inspired by anime, manga, or other Japanese sources. Like I said, some events are more strict about this guideline than others. For example, obviously, Dragon Ball, you're safe. Sonic the Hedgehog, you're fine. Hatsune Miku, Vocaloid, Project Sakai, perfectly fine. Any Japanese adaptations of media, you're good. Properties that creators have cited in anime Japanese media as a source of inspiration, for example, Arcane falls under this, Avatar: The Last Airbender, K-pop Demon Hunters, Genshin Impact. I have seen a couple things slip through before. I have seen Has-Been Hotel both accepted and rejected from events, which is very strange. Like I said, contact your coordinator and ask. There's no harm in it. Non-contest events may also allow a small number of cosplays from non-related sources, such as Disney, Marvel, DC, My Little Pony, Has-Been Hotel, Critical Role, etc. You are most likely not going to be able to get into Masquerade with Has-Been Hotel. Sorry. You may be able to get in with the Japanese official designs of the My Little Pony Gajinkas, if that is how you pronounce them now. The main thing you do not want to try and get into an event is real people, which includes VTubers, which I know is like a kind of product of contention here for the past couple of years. A lot of people are like, well, why not VTubers? I think it's a legal thing. Coordinators are allowed one non-anime influenced character per event. Example, King K. Rool in chess one year. Oh, you're allowed one. Oh, that's so crazy. Yeah, we've seen a couple Bowsettes and all that. Generally, just do not try to apply VTubers to events because you will not get in. But now we can get into specific events. So we're going to start off with Lip Sync Battle. An event that I myself have not participated in yet. You can perform as a soloist or in a duo. You need to supply 4 songs that are to be performed, 1 for each round. Music cuts will be in between a minute to 90 seconds long, and they must be radio clean. You cannot have explicit music going on. Like, no, like, you know. Make sure to include a backup song in case someone else submits identical or the same songs, which happens more often than you think, I guess. We have a lot of friends that did Lip Sync Battle. Try to tailor your song choices more thematically close to the character you've chosen. So, like, fire characters are easier in that sense because you could do, like, fiery, heat-themed songs. Try to choose songs that are recognizable and in English. So, I would not recommend applying as Haruhi Suzuyama and doing Hari Hari Yukai, because it, as cool as it is, and as much as a lot of people would probably like to see that, it usually does not get it in. A really, really good example of one that I saw one year was Someone was Maze Hughes from Full Metal Alchemist, and without saying any spoilers, they did Telephone, and it was crazy. It was ridiculous. It was a really good choice. It is insane. Like, they go hard. I sat in for lip sync at Pop Cult, and all the lip sync people are crazy, but they're all super, super nice and love making friends, and they're all such a tight-knit community, and they will just welcome you in. It's a lot like chess in community sense. Try to apply with songs that you're passionate about, because you don't want to like rehearse songs that you hate. Props are allowed, obviously, to a certain point. Don't go insane and like bring like a gigantic, huge, intrusive thing that will not let you dance. But I've seen people do fans, I've seen people do staffs, swords, etc. For choreographing, look up inspiration. I've had people recommend Just Dance as inspiration for either things to do or things not to do. But definitely don't just go out and copy existing choreographed stuff, because it's kind of boring. And you can't add your own flair. You're really keeping yourself confined to like a box in that. You want to like have a good time. It's not a dance competition. It's a charisma competition. Rehearse, 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 rehearse. Very important. You practice everything ever. This would go for most events, especially for lip sync battle. You want to be rehearsing this stuff. Not only do you want to be rehearsing this stuff, but you want to make sure that you do at least a couple of run-throughs in most or the important portions of what your cosplay are. If you're going to be wearing huge heels, please rehearse in those, because your movement is going to be very different in heels than it is in your regular sneakers or whatever shoes you're practicing in normally. You will be surprised at how limited in mobility most cosplays are, especially if you're buying from online and sizing isn't the best. So please at least do one run through in your cosplay before the convention. And I'm saying like before the convention, not like in your hotel room the day before. I've been there. You can do that, and actually that's usually how I would do most of my rehearsals for my events, would be the night before in the hotel room in most, if not all, of the cosplay, just to double check everything. But I'm usually rehearsing a couple times like that before convention weekend at home. Contest is held in a bracket style format. Participants will perform 2 groups at a time, and the audience decides which group will advance to the next round. And it's usually held in one of the larger panel rooms. Like, each group comes up, well, first you have your first group come up, perform, and then you have your second group come up, perform, and then the host brings them both on, and the audience chooses by cheers which one moves on. Deathmatch functions the same way, basically. Except lip sync battle, you don't kill each other at the end, unless you're at Pop Cult for some reason, which was really, really fun to watch. In Character Contest, this year will be its 2nd year running. Last year was its 1st, and it was phenomenal. This was an event that Majima got to participate in. Both Majima and Kiryu got to participate in this event. Really fun. This is a solo-only event. You can only enter one person at a time. It is everyone for themselves. It is PG-13 or TV-14 rating. Swearing is immediate disqualification, and this was a hard part for everyone last year, was praying none of us swear on accident. But it's a 3-round competition. It's all improv, all in character. It's very, very fun. Round 1 is about 30 to 60 seconds. You're delivering a monologue in character, basically introducing yourself, or basically anything. Goggle is very, very, like, open about what you can do. He's just like, yeah, just monologue. Does not matter what it is. Be in character, be appealing to the audience, because this is audience vote. And once everyone's done, audience votes for their favorite performance. Usually they vote for, like, their favorite character and then a second favorite. And the ones who get the most votes will advance to round 2. Usually 10. Round 1 is you're selling yourself to the audience. Cold open. You want to make them like you. You want to make them want to see you do more. Round 2 is an interview segment. You'll be sat down on that stage in front of Goggle, who will be Pegasus, most likely. And he will be interviewing you. He will ask about 2 to 3 interview questions that are picked ahead of time, so you don't exactly know what they are unless he gives a hint beforehand, but usually you are still kind of blindsided by them. And then this one is chosen by judges. This is a judges-based voting. Last year, they were some pretty hefty people. I don't think they're gonna tell us who the judges are until probably before round 2, like they did last year. Don't be nervous. They're very excited to be there. It's basically a fun time for them. It's a fun show that they get to interact with. It's great. 5 people will proceed onward, and they're based on a criteria which we will get into later. And then the final round, round 3, Pegasus will provide a skit prompt that each contestant acts out alongside a VIP who is considered maybe a co-host. I don't know. I think it's just someone really important. Judges once again score based on the criteria. They pick the one singular winner, and it is a very fun time. It's an insanely fun time. I'm hoping they do it at the Veterans Memorial Auditorium again this year because it was really fun. Here is your scoring criteria for this event. Very nice to have some transparency about this. It's very cool. This is for rounds 2 and 3 as its judge's choice. Part of its consistency, how well the performer persistently portrays, wow, a set of defining traits for a character and how well the performer gives the audience a sense of who they are. Act as if a lot of people do not know your source material. It's okay to have like cute little Easter eggs here and there, like referencing some stuff that other people might not get unless they're a watcher of whatever you're doing, but try to sell the audience on it. Almost like you're selling them on your source. 25% stage presence. How well the performer moves around the stage, how clear the performer's gestures and mannerisms are, how strong their expressions are. But yes, be very clear. I mean, it depends on your character. Some characters are very stoic and quiet, and you know, you work with that the best you can. Which also made it especially funny that Kiryu got as far as he did, because Kiryu Kazuma is considered like the stoic protagonist that is just kind of almost like an observer, like things just happen to him and he just goes along with it. So you can do it, believe me. 25% improvisation. Yeah, read that. How well the performer works with the host and other contestants to move dramatic or comedic moments forward, and how quickly the performer responds to changes. You don't want to lock up. You don't want to fumble. Best you can. Roll with the punches. You're just having a good time. You're the character. That's who you are. You're not going to have an exact script set out for you for everything ever that your character is going to react to. You have to make it up. Imagination is wonderful. 25% entertainment. How entertained and engaged the performer made the audience feel. This includes the judges, obviously, but a lot of it is audience. Oh, I wanted to reiterate, once again, the event comes first before the character thing, which is going to apply to a lot of these events. I know it sounds silly because, like, this is a contest of, like, it's important to be in character, but it's, like, it's important to a limit. Like, a character who's a jerk can be a jerk in a tasteful way, if that makes sense. Like, you don't want to be insanely antagonistic to the point where it's no longer fun and just kind of hard to watch when you're engaging with other people on stage. That's the main priority. Is you don't need to be, like, likable, but, like, don't be, like, embarrassingly obnoxious or hard to watch. Cosplay Runway, we've never done. We've had friends that do it. Apparently it's one of the most simple events here. You can buy your cosplay, you can make it by scratch, as long as they meet the guidelines of the event, you're golden. Sign-ups are online and they might be on site. I heard that they usually are. It's insanely simple. You walk up, you strike a couple poses, and you walk off. And usually the host will have like a small blurb written by you about your character or cosplay they'll use to introduce you and stuff. It's basically baby Masquerade. If you just want to show off your stuff, perfect event for this. It's very chill. Karaoke Contest! I did this back in 2022. It was technically my very first event, and it was very fun. It was loads of fun. This was back when it was actually still in the small karaoke room, which apparently it's not nowadays. It's in the bigger panel room now. You are not required to cosplay. It does require an audition video applying, bleh, but participants are selected, and it's not first come, first serve anymore. Back in the day, it used to be first come, first serve. They would open up that forum post, and people would flood in instantly. I remember people used to put their applications into Notepad and have them in advance so they could just copy and paste them so they would get in. It is no longer like that. They choose. So you have plenty of time until applications close to get into that. You're not allowed lyrics on stage. Anything can be sung except for the following, which is you cannot sing any mainstream Western music unless they were songs made specifically for an anime or game, like Abyss by Youngblood. That was made for Kaiju number 8. Disney music, no go. R-rated lyrics regardless of language, no go. It has to be PG-13. This is an all ages event. It's not an After Dark event. The winner will sing their song in closing ceremonies of the convention, which is like huge and massive and awesome and mega cool. I have seen some exceptions to these rules in regular karaoke. I'm not sure if during the competition I have seen them, which I have not. Like I said, check with your coordinator. If you are unsure about anything ever, check with your coordinator. They are more than happy to answer your questions, even if you think they are dumb. Because no question is dumb, except for a couple of them. Big Fat Quiz Show. I have never been to this event. I am so sorry. It is an After Dark event. 3 teams of cosplayers will compete against each other to answer trivia questions covering anime topics, and they have to stay in character the entire time. It always sounded like a fun time. I unfortunately have never been to it, but it seems like another very relaxed, like, After Dark type of deal. Shenanigans! Once again, I am so sorry. I am a fake fan. I have never been to Shenanigans. I have heard things about Shenanigans. It's fun, from what I've heard. It's raunchy, 18+ improv games. So, like, scenes from a hat, they might have you dub over hentai. A million things could happen. It's kind of a free-for-all. They choose participants from the audience. There are no online signups for this. So it is, like, a really fun, like, end of Saturday, I believe, ordeal. Yeah, you have to be kind of good at improv, but it is good practice for improv, which is always good. 18+ dating game. This is a big one. Dating game style contest, self-explanatory. A bachelor or bachelorette asks a number of possible suitors some questions, and at the end of the game, chooses a winner to go on a date with. Obviously, this event is 18+, and it can get dirty, but it has to be tasteful. You cannot be, like, insanely grossly explicit from what I know, but you can, like, you know, you can get away with some stuff. No stripping, as far as I know. All characters must abide by the guidelines, as well as be of age to participate. No school uniforms are allowed to see. No lollies. Do not enter a lolly into the explicit dating game. I'm going to zoom in. Do not enter the child character into the 18+ dating game. You won't get it! And yes, your 1 billion-year-old dragon character counts if she has the form of a kindergartner. Yeah, you would think. But then it does get ambiguous with characters like Sailor Moon, and I've heard Jotaro Kujo, but I'm not sure. Because it's like, you know, it's ambiguous at that point. Not an actual dating game. Yes, we have had people expect to enter this and get an actual date with someone every year. You are not actually getting a real date through this game. It is all for fun. It's just, it's improv. It's fun. It's not real. So please do not go in expecting anything. It is just a game. Thank you. Very, very important point that I did in fact miss when I was making this. That is very important. Yeah, you're not obligated to go on a date with anyone ever, even if they are like, well, you have to date me. No, you don't have to do that. If you're curious about your character, once again, talk to your coordinator. And also, if you do have a partner currently, that's a you thing. I would maybe talk to them about that before entering. I don't know. Because everyone has different ideas about it. But as for some tips, memorize the basic points of your character, practice basic answers and phrases to questions. Remember specific character details that pertain to your character that you can use. So without getting explicit, if your character has like a fire theme, the jokes write themselves. Your character can control plants. Vines are a thing. Water. You know, think about it. Low-hanging fruit. Come on, guys. Don't make me spell it out. Like I said, game show gets explicit, but tastefully. Don't be insanely gross. Do not give people secondhand embarrassment. Make them laugh. Do not enter a character you cannot work with. This is insanely important, and every year, apparently, we have someone like this. No characters that refuse to date anyone other than one specific person that may or may not be there, and no characters that will not participate in the game outright. Let's hypothetically say that you decide to enter the dating game as Alistair. Do not refuse to play the game because Alistair is aromantic and ace. Just roll with it. Roll with it somehow. Like I said, do not prioritize characterization over the fun of the game or the event. Don't ruin it. Please. Oh boy. Rubbing my hands together. Rub my hands together. Deathmatch. Cosplay Deathmatch is one of the flagship events of the convention. It is very, very, very fun, and it's always packed. There is always a lot of people in this audience, and it is loud and very fun. You can apply as a soloist or in groups of 2 to 4, excuse me. It's held bracket style. 2 groups go up to face off against each other, do some cool poses, taunting each other, and then the audience decides by cheers which group defeats the other and moves on to the next round. Pretty self-explanatory. Groups rehearse their fights backstage beforehand to get an idea for what to do on stage, usually agree on what to do in the event on either side of winning, losing. Basically, I'm going to walk you through how it's been all the years that we've done it. We've done it 2022, 2023, 2024, and 2025. You are lined up in the green room, and you are told in advance who you are going to be facing off against. You meet up with that person and usually have a few minutes to discuss with them ideas and even rehearse or act out specifically what you're going for. So let's say, hypothetically, Majima is up against Bowsette from Mario. And maybe Bowsette has come to the event with a fireball prop. Cool, awesome. Majima's come to the event with a knife prop. With permission! Not by surprise. Everyone knows he has the knife. Everyone knows the knife is not real. They may coordinate a situation where, in the instance that Bowsette wins, Bowsette throws the fireball at Majima's head, knocks him on the head with it, and Majima dramatically falls to the ground dead. In the event that Majima wins, Majima might run up to Bowsette and stab her 37 times in the chest. You know, acting, no physical contact is allowed at this event. And Bowsette kind of takes a knee because she might not want to mess up her cosplay or something, which is perfectly fine, by the way. And that's how you coordinate. Both of them go out, audience votes, either result happens, and they go the best they can with what they planned. A lot of the time, in our experience, either because adrenaline's flowing and you forget, or it's just there's a lot happening, sometimes you'll forget what you guys rehearsed or agreed on backstage. That's why it's always nice to have something simple to fall back on. So just like a very easy punch to the face. Dead. Easy. Very easy. Yes, at minimum, figure out how you'll die, because odds are you're going to die. You're probably going to die in the first round, which is not a bad thing, which leads directly into this. I'm going to skip real quick and go, because we're right here. If you can't wow the crowd with a victory, impress them with a dramatic death if you can. Because at the end of the day, it's a show. It is a contest, but it's a show as well. Majima has never made it past, I believe, the second round. Ever. But he has always gone hard with dying. Because he sees it as like, well, gotta show him what's good. And it is very fun to die. Be aware of how you fall. Be aware of what you're wearing. Let's just go back up to point 1. Make sure your cosplay is something you can move in for 1. Like, make sure nothing's gonna rip. Don't go crazy. Don't accidentally break something moving too hard. Plan on how you'll die. Whether it be taking a knee, falling over dramatically, etc. If you're wearing a skirt, fall facing away from the audience. So you want to make sure that you're falling facing the screen and the back of the stage, so you do not upskirt the audience. It kind of feels like every year it still happens anyways, which mistakes happen. It is what it is, but try to, yeah. If you're wearing something that you're particularly worried about breaking or you can't move around in very well, taking a knee is perfectly fine to symbolize that you've died. Your safety and your costume's safety comes first. Learn how to fall, please. Please learn how to fall. The first deathmatch that Majima did, there was a Guts from Berserk, and he died before he did. And this man was 6'20" and was like a titan. And when this man died, he threw himself down as hard as he could onto the stage, and there was a deafening rumble and a boom when he did that. And Majima went, wow, that's really cool. I have to make sure that I do that when I die. The only problem is that when he died and threw himself across the stage and flopped down as hard as he could, cracked his head on the bottom of the stage. So learn how to fall so you don't hit your head. But you will provide an intro for your group for the host to read before you're introduced to your first fight. If you are stuck, you can always ask other people in the deathmatch community to help you, because more than likely they'll be in the Discord server again. They'll have you guys all in groups and everyone coordinates and stuff, and you can always ask for help. If you're stumped, write it like a wrestling intro. That has been our fallback for many years. When Majima gets stumped and is like, what the heck do I do? Write a wrestling intro. Speaking of, we actually have our deathmatch intro written here already. Okay. So this is a very good example of Majima was stumped and needed something and decided to just go straight up, just like cheesy, half untrue wrestling intro. They say the mythical dragon brings the rain, but this dragon is here to bring the pain. Hailing from Kamurocho, Japan, here's the one, the only Dragon of Dojima, hairbringer of terror and destruction, Kazuma Kiryu, and also this other guy that followed him in. Very good intro. I know, I'm biased. Something like this is perfect. 50 words or less is a lot less than you think it is. You don't want to be too long, but the hosts are also usually very good at reading these out. Tiebreakers will be used in the event of ties. This is something I forgot to put in here until the very end here when I remembered, oh god, tiebreakers are a thing. Usually tiebreakers are either a dance-off or rock, paper, scissors or a pose-off or something like that. You will not know the music you're dancing to beforehand for the dance-off. It will be random, it probably won't be what you expect, and it will be a little difficult. Practice a few cool flashy moves or something funny that you could wow the audience with, because once again, it's going to be audience vote even after you're done dancing or rock, paper, scissoring or doing poses. In the time in between audience voting and your introduction, you have like maybe half a minute where you will walk on stage, do a couple cool poses, and then go to your spot. Use this time, this is your time to sell the audience on you being so cool that you should make it to the end. Use it. Show off. Do a couple cool dramatic weapon swings, flex, I don't know, do whatever. It's depend on your character. It's very fun though. Next up, we got this new thing. Cosplay Talent Show. This is the new event. This is the first year they're doing this. So as a result, I do not know anything except for what they've told us, which is a lot, but also not much at all. It is a brand new event and performances can include, but are not limited to, idol performances. Cosplay or independent Kaigai idols are allowed. Dance or lip sync covers, live singing, stage combat or flow presentations, other forms of talent like sleight of hand, traditional magic, musical stuff, live comedy, monologues, scene reenactments, stuff like that. As long as it fits into like the anime Boston theme, you're good. All performances must follow guidelines and must be PG-13, nothing explicit. No swears. Don't say swears. Maximum group size is 7 people. I know that this was something that was kind of frowned at quite a bit by some people, including myself. After getting the explanation for it, I understand. They can only accommodate a certain amount of people in the green room, and this is just how it is this year, and it might change next year. So I'm sorry, a lot of Love Live groups, you're probably gonna have to sit this one out. Performances must be 60 seconds minimum and 2 minutes and 30 seconds maximum. That is your allotted time that you are allowed. You cannot go below or above that. There are no handless mics, by the way. Like hands-free microphones. They do not supply those. All applications will require an audition video. You do not need to be in full costume for this video, but you must submit photos as you must with every other event. There is a 16 resolution video screen above the stage, and you can use it if you want to, but you don't have to. It's not a competition, so you do not have to use it, and it's not like you're gonna get points off for it. This is an exhibition. It's a showcase, so you're not competing. Pre-recorded audio is expected to be clean and balanced. Do not have it sound like dookie. They will not accept it if it does. You will know if it sounds bad. Once again, it's an exhibition. There's no prize. You just go up there and do your thing. On to Masquerade. Masquerade is huge. Huge. You can tell how huge it is because look at how much stuff we got going on here. That's a lot. It is considered the flagship event of the convention. It is held on Saturday night in the big venue. You have an exhibition showcase. You usually have awards. You have craftsmanship. You have skits and performances and musical guests possibly and a bunch of other stuff. And it's wicked cool and everyone goes to it. And the place is usually packed. Big deal. Participating in it is insanely fun. Either craftsmanship or performance, and it's so funny because I always hear from each side that like the performance people have no idea how the craftsmanship people do it, and the craftsmanship people have no idea how the performance people do it, and it's fun. Remember, everyone back there is nervous and doing their best and friendly. You're gonna be fine. Another thing to remember is also the judges and the staff and the coordinators are all usually cosplayers or people that have been in your shoes more than once. So they get it. Everyone is there to put on a good show and have a good time. So it's nothing to be nervous about. So, Masquerade, held in the Veterans Memorial Auditorium at the Heinz Convention Center, is considered the main event of the entire con, held on Saturday night. It is huge. You have all the floor space, and then you have all the balcony space. Don't let that scare you, though. It's very fun. There are cash prizes. Exact amounts are found on the Masquerade page. They are big. Oh, they are big. But also competition is big. Like, wild. I've seen some stuff. I remember one year before I went out, I saw a Rosen Maiden group doing backflips in full Elida. It's nuts. The talent is insane. Judges are all experienced cosplayers, either craftsmanship or performance, or sometimes both. All cosplays must strictly adhere to source guidelines. They do allow alternative or fan versions of existing designs or characters, and they're approved on a base by base. Like, I remember one year there was a Mecha Miku that won an award. I've seen a couple humanized versions of animal anime characters before. Seen dramatic design changes for pre-existing characters. Like I said, speak to your coordinator. Judges are fellow cosplayers and performers too, and have been in your shoes before. They are excited to be there and see your work and see a fantastic show. There is nothing to be nervous about. They're not like judging you in a negative way. They're just excited to see everything happening. It's like the picture of the guy with the cakes, and he's like, oh, my cake's not as good as the other guys. And then the judge is like, holy moly, there's 2 cakes here. Like, that's what it's like. There may not be much time to mingle backstage, but everyone is usually very friendly, and you can make friends very easily. Usually a lot of people make friends and end up recording each other's performances from the back and stuff like that. I know there's been quite a few times where I've run out to the auditorium. I'm not sure if I was actually allowed to do this, and recorded sets of other people's stuff for them. There may be snacks backstage that other people brought in. But there should definitely be water. Please utilize the water. All right, this is going to be getting into specifics on performance and craftsmanship, which are your 2 divisions for Masquerade that you can participate in. They're both competitive. They both have many divisions, novice, intermediate, and masters, and it depends on skill level. I did also get a lot of help from former judges at many masquerades, including Anime Boston ones, and veteran cosplayers and performers and stuff, and I really, 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 really appreciate it. If any of you are in here tonight, thank you so much for, like, entertaining me when I was like, please help me and tell me about things, because I'm lost and I want to make sure I'm saying the right things. Direct copies of existing dances, videos, and skits aren't allowed. They will not allow that at all. If you are doing a carbon copy of something else, nuh-uh. That's why most idol performances are not viable at the Masquerade, because you cannot just go up, do choreography, and leave. At least that's not what you're supposed to be able to do. I'm not gonna lie, I think I've seen that most years still. I've seen that there have been performances that were just like backing music, backing vocals from the original source. Presentation intro of 100 words or less will be read beforehand by the MC prior to your performance. The MC cannot be involved, so they can't like help you out with your skit or your performance at all. They could just read your intro and walk off and let you go on. Skit time limits are defined by the division, so if you want more time, you gotta go up a division. I'm a silly goof, and I love my time. So I think it was both years I did Masters. I can't remember if I did Intermediate. No, I did Intermediate this previous year when I was waitlisted and did not perform. Novice is 1 minute, 30 seconds. Intermediate is 2 minutes, 30 seconds. And Masters is 3 minutes, 30 seconds. Time both goes by really, really, really fast on stage. But also, you don't realize how much time you got. And sometimes it's hard to perform for 4 minutes straight almost. You want to abide by all the performance guidelines. Once again, nothing messy, no fog. Don't be throwing rose petals, stuff like that. Don't throw anything off stage or jump. Stage is a lot higher than you think it is, and it's a lot more dangerous if you do not stick to the guidelines on it. You can't be hanging your legs off the stage. You can't even get to the edge. They won't let you. So don't throw things in the audience or have anyone throw anything to you, or that's not going to work. And once again, every performance must be PG-13. It is an all-ages event. Nothing crazy. There is a that resolution video screen above the stage. Using this screen is very recommended because it is a judged competition. You will get brownie points if your media is cool. Another note, please caption your media. Please caption it in a way that the audience can read them. So like, try not to put them mega on the bottom because your head might be in the way. Please put readable captions on your media. That is a huge plus. Audio is expected to be clean, clear, and well balanced as per usual. This is the flagship event. You do not want to mess around. You can use a live microphone upon request. One thing to note is, I feel bad, but like, be annoying about it. Be annoying about any accommodations you may need, like a live microphone or maybe a chair or anything that you need on that stage with you. Make sure that they have it written down and it's noted. Like, put it in your application, make sure it's in your emails, and check with Masquerade Coordinator at your rehearsal and make sure that it's written that you need that thing. Because sometimes things get lost in communication. It's not their fault, but sometimes it happens. It's happened to me at least twice. Not at Anime Boston exclusively, but you're allowed one simple lighting effect during your set. At the beginning, it's blue out. They do not do blackouts for safety reasons. And at the end, they fade to blue again. But you can do one cool, simple lighting effect during your set. They have a bunch of colors. They can do a bunch of things. You can do party lights. It's kind of cool. Utilize that event effect if you can. You are required to attend rehearsal, as far as I know. The written regulations on the website are a little strange and imply that they might not be able to have everyone rehearse, which I think is silly. I think everyone will be able to rehearse, and it's been like that for years, and you've always had to go to rehearsal, so just assume that you have to go to rehearsal for safety's sake. These rehearsal spots should be secured around Saturday morning of the show, according to the website. I have heard of people getting rehearsal time on Friday. I'm not sure if they're keeping that exclusive to Craftsmanship only now or not. But expect your rehearsal to be mandatory on Saturday morning or Saturday day before all the big events start in the main room. Applications that are more likely to be chosen are ones with clear concepts, strong original themes or storytelling, and media files with clean audio and video work. Another good motivator to make sure your audio is clean and your video is concise. If you do not have a finished product by the time your app is in, that's fine. Show them the best that you have. You want to show them that you're not only working on something, but whatever you're working on is really good. Make it be like something very appealing that they'll want in their show, which is the main reason I worked so hard on video files for all of my Masquerade performances, because I knew I was already kind of doing an uphill battle by being like, oh, how original. It's an idol going up and singing a song from an anime and cosplaying that character. They do that all the time. That's why I made my video files so appealing specifically. Your media does not need to be finished exactly by the time apps are closed. I believe there are other due dates for that, but I'm not gonna lie to you, the due dates this year for the events are like, you have less time than you used to, it feels like almost. So like, you wanna make sure you get all this done fast. And do not do it last minute. Please, speaking from experience, do not do this insanely last minute. For those wishing to perform traditional song or dance covers, Anime Boston does offer other events for song, which is Karaoke Contest, and for dance, they offer Lip Sync Battle. K-pop Dance Contest is currently MIA. I'm not sure if they're doing it this year. So it's possible they might be doing a K-pop thing this year. Any performance that has a request for a live microphone will need to supply a video recording of their intended performance. Basically a demo. You do not need to be in cosplay for this. I've recorded so many of these in my pajamas in the rec room downstairs. It does not need to be pretty. Just, like, do your performance. Do your run-through. Show them that it's real and that it's going to be really cool. Oh, another thing. Karaoke runs in tandem with Masquerade. So if you want to do both, you're going to have to pick one or the other, including being an audience member. They said something about cosplay talent showcase kind of overlapping in regards to like scheduling. I don't know. They were vague about it. They said that you can't participate in both with the same thing, but you might be able to participate in either one with different. I would contact coordinators. Like I said, that event is up in the air right now. It's weird. It's a new one. It happens. When you are rehearsing, rehearse in part of your cosplay at least shoes or parts of clothes so you can get a feel for moving around stage. Basically the same advice I gave for lip sync battle. Practice in the shoes you're going to be using. Get used to the shoes you're going to be using. Make sure that you're able to perform maneuvers that you want to perform in the outfit that you're going to be wearing. Things might be tight. Sleeves might not work, etc., etc. Just be prepared. Use your opportunity to talk to tech and make sure everything is ran through properly, like lights, timing, audio cues, mic, chair requests, anything else you might need. Take complete advantage of your rehearsal time to harass tech about this stuff. Not harass like bad, but like, you know, make sure everything's gonna be good. Cover all your bases is basically what I'm saying. Masquerade is the big boy event that you want to make sure your bases are covered. You do not want to have something mess up on you or something not go right because something was missed. I think it's pronounced Stars of Cassiopeia. I am so sorry if it's not. Gave me a boatload of advice, which I really appreciate. They specifically said, quote, "I need you to tell me a story. Even a choreographed dance skit can do this. You need to follow the story arc of introducing the conflict, building tension, having a climax, and resolving it. Sometimes it's hard in 2 to 3 minutes, but it has to move." Which is very good advice. Blocking on stage is very important. What that means specifically is finding points of stage that you're going to be utilizing. Use the whole stage. That is probably the biggest piece of feedback I have gotten every single time I've performed is, please use the entire stage. And I then proceed to not do that. So please try to do that. Focus on your timing, deliberate movements, and synchronization with group members. If it looks nice and clean and dynamic, fantastic. Lovely. Wonderful. Make sure the judges and audience can follow the plot even if they haven't seen the source. You don't want people lost and not understanding things and completely out of the loop. You want at least like a little bit of like making them feel familiar for your source. Less is more. Don't shoehorn in a lot of things to try and win points. Pacing matters. So like if you want to utilize a new skill that you're working on, great. Do that. Don't try to pick up a million different new skills just for the sake of having a bunch of impressive new skills in your performance. It's a lot like craftsmanship. Focus on doing a really good job with the things that you can and not like juggling a million things. And don't try to rush through your performance too much. Try to make it feel like very natural and organic and not like I'm trying to meet the time limit. Craftsmanship. I have obviously not participated in this, but I know a few people that have. They once again gave me lovely advice. Thank you very much to them. Costumes that have been worn for any previous craftsmanship competition at Anime Boston cannot be entered in again. And please, please try not to enter in a piece that has been entered into other contests, especially if they have won something. I believe that's called sandbagging, is when you enter in a costume to get multiple awards across conventions when you've already won a lot of awards. It's a lot. It's like a debated thing, I guess. I don't know. It's common courtesy. Be courteous. Be nice. Costumes cannot be purchased or rented. Only minimal number of found or bought pieces can be used, and it's case by case. You want to try and home make this as much as you can. I believe, yeah, it says at least 75% of the cosplay must be made from complete scratch. Costumes that have won a major award are ineligible for participation. A major award is like something bigger than the judges or like a best in show or something. The only person eligible for an award is whoever made all of the costumes, if this applies. So if you have like a group and only one person in the group made all the costumes, they're the one that's eligible for the award, not everyone wearing all the cosplay. Yes, there are people go up for the Masquerade to model their cosplay that they made, but it's important to know that the person that made that cosplay is the one that will be eligible for the award, not the model. But you are welcome to have someone model it for you, I believe. Very important for your application is a build book. It's basically a documentation of how you did everything, walking through specific details and how they were done. It's very, very, very important for judging, and it's mandatory. It's required. You must make a build book, and a draft is required with your application upon submission. And it must include at least one full-length color reference image and at least 3 work-in-progress photos and 1 full-length photo of the costume in its current state as of application, a list of any purchased or found items that were not homemade, and a list of any third parties who helped with the costume and what components they assisted with. So for example, if you had someone or corporation or a friend 3D print your part, you gotta write that down. You gotta write in that you did not 3D print those and who did. But you can also write in that you were the one that sanded them and painted them and primed them and did all the other stuff with it. Contestants must have a physical copy of their finalized build book at the time of prejudging, and they recommend no more than 10 pages per costume. If you're in a group and there are multiple costumes, obviously there's going to be multiple pages to your book, if not multiple books. I'm not sure if judges prefer multiple books over a single book. I think just a single is probably better for them to flip through. That's one thing, is you got to think about like what's easy for them to look at and flip through. Like, you don't want it to be insanely wordy. Having like a blurb about each section is probably best. I've seen a lot of really good build book tutorials, but pre-judging, participants have approximately 5 minutes to present their entries to the judges and answer any questions. Come prepared with speaking points. So for example, specific techniques and materials used, decisions made around design and construct, parts of the cosplay you are most proud of or found extra challenging. And you will be notified of this judging time around a couple weeks or a week before the con, and you want to make sure that you follow all emailed instructions from coordinators because things can change. And you are also able to possibly change things. So if you have another event or a panel that you're running and it coincides with your judging time, please, as soon as you can, message coordinators and they will see if they can find you a workaround. One thing that I have seen in regards to advice on build books is I've seen people recommend that you organize the build books in a way where it's easy to see exactly what part is in what part of the book. So judges can easily like flip along with you while you're explaining and prejudging. I've seen people do like tabs at the bottom. It would be like, this tab is where I start explaining the headpiece, or this tab is where I start explaining the bodice or the armor or stuff like that. That really helps a lot, apparently. The easier you can make it for the judges to understand, the more they're gonna love you. Clean, finished seams and handiwork, and also good fitting cosplay is numero uno. Like, everything being nice and handled with care. Like, make it look like you really tried and you put care into it. Like I said regarding performance, you don't want to just throw a bunch of stuff in, like, I'm gonna put armor on it because armor will get me extra points, or I'm gonna embroider this because it'll get me more points for that. It doesn't get you that many points if you don't do it well, or if it's not executed well, or if you do like a million things but like your paint isn't sealed, or you still have gaps and things, and you didn't sand a 3D printed part down, or you didn't press your seams. Press your seams! That's something I do know. Press your seams! Attempt a variety of skills, but not just for the sake of doing them. Do them well, like I just said. And it needs to look attempted with care, not just done to be done for judging, which, yep. Star says once again, I'd personally rather award a simple looking costume that totally nailed everything with a handful of skills they did leverage than someone who tried 6 bajillion things, but only did an okay job with most of them. This is also something that comes up every time there's a major cosplay competition anywhere, not just Anime Boston, and it happened recently because, like I said, every time it comes up is everyone always gets mad if a sewn piece wins over an armor piece. The thing about seeing the cosplays from the audience or from a photo or camera or something is you're not getting what the judges are seeing. Judges are able to see up-close armor prints, seeing if they've sanded them down well, or if there's still print lines, or if they had specific layering with the paint that gives it like a certain sheen, or if seams are pressed, or if embroidery was done specifically in a way that made it look very clean. So people see a sewn garment win and they're all like, oh, why did that thing win over the big, cool, detailed armor thing? And it's like, well, that big, cool, detailed armor thing could have been unsealed Evofoam that was cut badly. Like, it might look good from a distance, but we don't know. Meanwhile, that person could have utilized esoteric, insane sewing magic on their gown, and that's why they won. Like, they were like, yeah, I went into, like, historical accuracy with this garment. Like, it's insane sometimes, especially when you get into Masters. That's when you get into, like, crazy stuff. But yes, if you are good at something, try to undertake a project that you can show your skills off to. Don't undertake a project just because you think it's gonna let you win. As for the show itself, you'll be lined up, introduced, and walked on stage. You will strike 3 poses at each point on stage. They will mark them. Basically, there's like 1 left, 1 center, 1 right, and then exit. And you will show your work off to the audience, and then you leave. And you'll be seated in a craftsmanship audience area of the auditorium to watch the rest of the show until they line you up for awards. I have not seen craftsmanship people in the green room. Usually they're all seated out front with the audience, like off to the side. They do give you plenty of room if you have large cosplays. Awards winners are lined up in advance after the exhibition skit usually, for both performance and craftsmanship. If they line you up, you've won something, but they will not tell you what you got until they call you up, which is very, very exciting. It also makes things really like smooth because they don't have to like search for everyone as they're calling awards. It's kind of nice. I like it a lot. I've always liked it. But yeah, my experience. The only thing I would say about Anime Boston Masquerade is it's long. It's very long. It's about 3 hours, maybe more. And then if you're participating in it, you're going to be there about an hour to an hour and a half to maybe longer than that beforehand. But luckily, you are not expected to stay afterwards, if not for very long, if at all. And it's not running as late this year. I think it's an earlier time slot. That is basically it. For all of the events in particular, except for, like I said, drag show. I'm sorry. Anyways, thank you guys so much for coming in. It was so great to talk to all of you, especially Goggle and everyone else from the convention scene, the idol scene. It was great to put on this little thing for you all just to help clear some misconceptions or help with some confusion or maybe even get you guys interested in some of the events. I'll be uploading a cropped version of this to YouTube for other people to watch as well.